Well, thank you. I'm so glad that we were able to
Absolutely.
make this work. This week has been bananas. So I
Yeah, it has.
appreciate your flexibility.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Listen, we are like huge anime fans in my house. So we watch
Fantastic.
so yeah, it's amazing. Like my 14-year-old daughter's obsessed. She knows every single thing. And she'll come to me and be like, "Okay, now we have to watch this one. And we have to watch this." She sits and just binges Crunchyroll like it's her
That's
job. Like,
amazing. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So she was like, "I know exactly who Jonah Scott is," and blah blah blah, and like spewed
Do you
all
have a
these
favorite
characters.
show?
We watch MHA together, My Hero
Oh,
Academia.
nice. Cool.
And so it was so sad. But that's what I want to talk to you about when things end, because obviously we're coming to the end of the Beastars here. How is that for you to say goodbye to these characters?
Well, Legoshi has been with me for uh, 5 years at this point,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit longer. It's, and I don't want to say goodbye. I don't want to say I'm saying goodbye. I would like to maybe come back and there's spin-off manga of Beastars. There's one called Beast Complex that chronicles the stories and the narratives of the people that are living in the same apartment complex as Legoshi is in the second season. So there's like a bunch of other tertiary stories.
Yeah.
Um, but it's it is bittersweet. But honestly, I do like when things end. I like when things end. I don't like having a story that goes on ad nauseum. That's some of the favorite my favorite things that I've done have been shows that have just been 12 episodes, one season, and then done. That's
Really?
all there is. Yeah. Because it's a finite story. I know where the character's going. I know what the motive. It's like doing a stage play. You're just
Yeah.
like, I know where this is. That you can't that's a fun little comparison I've never really made, but like you can't have a stage play that is a manga that's continuous. You can't have
Yeah.
a stage play that is just like, all right, come back in 2 years for the next part of this stage play, and we'll leave you on a cliffhanger. It's like I paid $75 for these seats. Like I want to see the
Yeah.
whole show, right? So that's and I come from theater too, so that's kind of a similar like I want to know where the story's going. So it's nice to have it end.
Yeah.
It's sad to see it go, but my career has kind of blossomed in a very positive way since I booked these stars, and it's gonna give me time to do other things. But like realistically speaking, like you probably we do a season of Beastars in maybe a month and a half, so it's not like it was like
Oh wow.
monopolizing my time.
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
set for hours and hours at a time or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's I'm able to like compartmentalize that. He's such a big part of my career and my life. He basically made I wouldn't be here without him in the furry community and
Yeah.
the narrative behind Beastars and Padu and everybody around it. I kind of leaned into it. But yeah, it's let's see where else I can hang my hat. I mean, we got Demon Slayer coming up. We got a bunch of other crazy shows I'm in all kinds. I'm in games that haven't even been announced yet. So I'm very, very
Nuh-uh.
excited. Oh yeah, tons. I'm in
Oh, that's so
games that
fun.
haven't even been announced yet. So I'm able to work on other things and kind of expand my character repertoire and my little rogues gallery that I got. Yeah,
That's
great.
crazy. Is
I'm
it crazy for you to like think back to, like you've said, it's blossomed so much. Think back to like where you were, like recording episode one of Beastars to like all the stuff you've done
yeah,
since then?
I I'm lucky to be where I am. I am blessed to be where I am. I always say luck is a combination of preparedness and skill. So you're ready. There's an opportunity that comes along, or sorry, luck is a combination of opportunity and skill. So you have
Mm.
you have an opportunity, and then you have your skill, and then that's how the luck is it blossoms. But I had been an actor for 15 years, and I didn't know where I was going to go with like any of these talents. I didn't want to do stage work anymore professionally, so locked into to VO, and it's crazy to see what's happened in the past 5 years. I've been doing professional work for about 5 years, but like I've been like a pro am voice actor for 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
I've been doing this on the side. I've been doing it from my dorm room is where I started with like a little USB rock band microphone that I would plug into my laptop, and I'd go to town, and that was how I learned that like people actually enjoyed like working with me, my
Yeah.
personality, and as well as like working with me and my voice. So it's it's good to see what I can do, but I want to know what I can do. You know what I mean? It's good to see what I'm
Hmm.
capable of, but it's good. I want to know what I can do. Like
Yeah.
if people really like Beastars, I can turn the dial up to 11 and then turn in another great performance somewhere else where the script is equally as meaty and poetic and lyrical. So I would really like to do that. That'd be cool.
Ugh. Well, I mean, it's you brought up Demon Slayer, so that's when we just start because MHA obviously ended, right? So we've just started Demon Slayer. My daughter had watched ahead, like I think she's like done with it, basically, and now we have started it as a family. But I love a villain. That is like Shigaraki and MHA is my favorite. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I love a villain. So
Joey.
in Demon Slayer, yeah, I'm like these demons are so cool looking. First of all, like how fun is it for you to like embrace the like villainous dark side?
So I like playing villains, but like I like playing bad guys who don't think they're the bad guy. Obviously, that's the key narrative point to being a villain is you don't think that you're doing anything villainous
Yeah.
or executing your plan or anything like that. But it's good. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a villain. Clearly, I'm pretty chill. And it's a good way. It's a good catharsis to be able to get that energy out there. But it's also uh kind of a blessing because like I've always wanted to play a mustache twirly like Snagly Whiplash kind of like villain. This like
Yes.
I the voice carries the gravitas and the weight, and there's a he's got a little bit of a monotony to his how he speaks. But like, have you ever seen Naruto?
Yes.
I liken my character in Demon Slayer to Madara in Naruto.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Like he's not the final boss. He's almost there. Everybody still is gonna take a lot of people to like take care of this guy, but like I don't want to I don't know what happens in the movie. I have no I don't give you a script beforehand. I have no idea what's going on. I've read the manga, so I know what happens in the manga, but I don't know how that's gonna shake out in the movie, and I'm very excited to see what they decide to do.
Yeah.
But being a villain is very fun because you're able to kind of like do things that if you're a hero, you kind of have to lean on things that you've experienced in your own life.
Hmm.
And like you have to lean on heroisms that you have executed as a normal person and like, be good. And, you have the motivational anime speech to all your friends and everything as you're like clenching your fists and the debris falls around you, right? Um, with the villain, it's the other way around. They are in the position of power the entire time, and it's only when I love the moment when the villain is like, oh, okay, I'm in a little bit over my head, right? I
Yes.
love that. It's that one moment because everybody in the audience, or everybody reading it, is just like, yeah, that's right, villain. Yeah, you had your time. You had your monologue. You were able to do some bad things. You were able to like crush a few of our friends or something like that. Whatever your steez is, but like now it's time for you to get your comeuppance. And
Hmm.
the the best part is of that as somebody that consumes the media and also is like producing it is that that's the turn. So
Yeah.
like there's like a meta knowledge you have there. So if you lean really hard into that turn and then make it seem like, oh my God, his entire worldview is swept out from under him or something like that, it really has a lot of power and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a moment like that. That'd be cool. I also like getting the opportunity to just be in a property like Demon Slayer is
Yeah.
something insane, even in the smallest amount. But like Kokushibo apparently is a pretty big deal. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what they do. I can't wait to see the animation. It's always super stellar. Aniplex does an incredible job. And so does Ufotable. And yeah, all my castmates are another thing that I want to bring up too. They
Yeah.
absolutely crush it. They've been I just show up and I like with pizza and I'm just like, hey guys, what's going on? Oh my God, what the heck is going on? And everybody else kind of like carries the story, honestly. They do. They carry the story. Like Kokushibo has a story, but
Yeah.
yeah, Alex, Zach, KG, everybody just kind of carries that story forward. Abby,
Oh,
Johnny, they're the ones that propel the whole thing. I'm just there as a roadblock.
yeah.
I
It's
just
a
kind of like
roadblock.
show up and I'm just like, hey guys, I'm here. Yep. Guess what? I'm part of the party now. But yeah, I'm lucky. I, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop at any moment. I'm waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under my feet at any moment.
No, 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 don't say that. Well, you mentioned like not getting the scripts ahead of time. So like clearly what happens? You walk in the booth and then they're like, here you go,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, because they don't want any opportunity for
I
anything
don't
to
think
happen
that's
or
the case. I don't think it's a leak problem. I think it is because they don't have it ready. I think
probably.
because it's a localization process, right? So when you
Yeah.
do the whole, they do the whole. So let's take another movie for an example, just like I don't know, like the slime movie that I did like a
Yeah.
couple of years ago. They do the whole movie, they animate it all, they voice act it all in Japanese. It's all done, it's all perfect, it's all polished, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we get to dub to animatics or something that's like a storyboard, but like most of the time you're dubbing to everything that is locked and
Yeah.
hardcore already out, like streaming somewhere. Um, so we don't get the script. And they probably got the script like maybe 48 hours ago from the person that's writing
Yeah.
it. And the anime writer is like that anime writing. This is something that I've been saying constantly forever. I've lived with an anime writer for 2 years out of my life in the like when they were cutting their teeth on anime writing. So I was learning kind of with them through osmosis as I was like
Mhm.
getting up in the morning watching them, you know, write the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure script, and I'm like
So
sipping my
cool.
coffee. They were writing Stardust Crusaders, like which is like peak JoJo's for me, right?
Yeah.
Uh anyway, I it's a technically impressive form of writing. It is very technically difficult to do, and it's difficult to do very well. There are a few writers that in anime that like can pull off the acting in a box and like writing poetry in a box and like prose in a box because you only have a certain amount of lip flaps. But if
Yeah.
you know the medium and know what the producers and the directors and the actors can do and like what kind of toggles we can flip and dials we can move around, you can kind of write to that. If you know who's going to be doing a particular character, you can write to their cadence of speech. I speak pretty fast, so people will know that regardless of what I say, it will come out faster than a normal person would say, an average person would say it. So, when you get to certain lines in anime, sometimes they stop in the middle of a English sentence and
Yeah.
it's a really weird pause. So, learning how to massage that and make that sound less dubby is a huge tool in the belt of an anime writer. So like the reason we don't get the scripts is not because they want to keep everything secret and hush hush. That's part of one of it. Like maybe 10% of the reason. But production is, especially on the English and American side, it's tight, it's locked, it is a
Yeah.
well-oiled machine. It is a clock with jewel movements. It is the cogs got to mesh together beautifully in order for everything to come out of the wash. And with something like Demon Slayer, there's a lot of like white glove service too. So you're able to they take really good care of this property.
Yeah. No, that makes
Unfortunately,
perfect sense. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because there are times when like just for fun, I'll like put on one this is so dorky, but like on like my computer I'll put on the like sub and then I'll put the dub and I'll be like they're not saying the same thing. This is crazy. Like
no,
the you know what I mean? Because it's like a little different. Obviously, you have to
and
change it. And
there's a lot of fun reasons for that. Like one of the things that I really like as a being doing as an actor is because I just kind of, especially as an anime actor, I'm just a kid from Cincinnati. I'm literally I didn't grow up in the industry. I'm not a like what is it a child actor. I didn't have helicopter parents or anything like that. I just kind of learned acting as a hobby. That people like, oh, you have your talent, you have a talent for this, like you, and it kind of evolved into that. But I something that I realized is that uh there's so many moving parts to all of this stuff. And if even one part is starting to like drag a little bit, it starts to affect the rest of the production in some way. So the fact that any of this gets done, period, because there's so many other things. Like you have to get the animation. The animation comes here. It has to be written. It has to be approved. It has to be negotiated. We have to figure out marketing because there's some people there are some companies that are just like, oh, anime's popular, we'll buy anime and then that will make it good. We will have anime and we will be able to localize anime and that will make it good. No, you have to market your anime, market your shows, let people know that you have this big title that, you can't just buy the title and let it advertise itself. You have to be like, oh, it's available in English, and we have these, like, we get these stars to come in and work on this stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a crazy industry, man. And I'm just a kid who's like, dropping his lunch all over the place inside the studio.
No, it's so cool. Like, like I said, we're big like anime fans, and so to be on that side of it, it's gotta be, what was your like the first role you got that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing this character? Like maybe you read the
I
mangas or someone you were so excited about.
It was so one of the first roles I got was well, it was like one of the first three roles that I booked, and this was kind of in succession. I booked one thing, and then I sent that to another studio, and then that studio just sent me an email that was like, "Come in for this," and I was like, "Are you serious? Come in for this? Like, what is this?" I came in. It was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It was Golden Wind. Formaggio. He's one of like La Squadra, kind of like a 3 episode villain character that just doesn't really do much. He's an asshole. He's a bad guy. He's terrible. Um, but that was one of the first roles that I got where I was just like, oh my God, yeah, now you're doing it. You're touching the cool stuff. Like you're you got your finger in this sick pie and it's awesome, and you're allowed to play and enjoy it. And I was directed by Tony Oliver, and the casting director came in and just like sat in on the session for a little bit just to see like what I was doing. And then within 5 minutes, they left, which was a good sign
Yeah.
because they were just like, "Oh no, you got it. You're good."
Yeah, they didn't have to like watch you anymore. They're like, oh, okay, he's
Exactly. I
fine.
wasn't babysitting anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great. That was one of the moments where I'm just like, yeah, maybe this is real. Maybe I can actually like do this. I had been living in LA for 2 years, sleeping on the floor, so I hope at some point I would have been able to do it. But that was one of the moments. And then shortly after that, I booked Legoshi, and then I Netflix approached me about I'm like 4 leads in Netflix anime. I'm Tatsu the Househusband. I'm Johnny Bolt, and their adaptation of the Mark Miller graphic novel Super Crooks. Um, I'm in Kengan Ashura, which is another Netflix show. I'm in Beastars, which is a Netflix show. So I was able to work really well and closely with Netflix to get that sorted. And it's less Netflix and more just the studios that Netflix works with that we're able to be like, no, you're good and you know what you're doing,
Mm.
like, and you're fun. We like working with you. You come in and you make this an enjoyable process.
That's a good
And
thing to
people,
have.
exactly. And for people in production that are there, and again, this is another thing, like shout out to production in every capacity because they are there 8 to 12 hours a day whereas I roll out of bed at 11 and get in there for 3 hours and then come back and eat a, hard boiled egg or whatever I do in the afternoon. Right. They work really, really hard. And a lot of the people that are like at reception and like that are cleaning the kitchen in the back, they love the shows and what they work on. They love anime. They would not be doing this, just like me.
Yeah.
We're not doing this for the money. We're not not at all. I have a 2 bedroom apartment. Like I'm not living La Vida Loca. Okay. I have bills, and I have a business that I like, I cut checks for like 6 people. Like we're hardworking people. And we do this because we enjoy the medium and we enjoy the creative process and the people that we work with.
Yeah.
This industry is very we us our, and it's full of lawful good, really just fun loving people that want to make good products, video games, anime, animation, cartoons, commercials, whatever. I get on, I do YouTube content and stuff like that too. I go and like hang out with YouTubers and content creators and things because I'm of that era, and
Yeah.
I know what the game is, and I want to play it with you guys.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like voice actors are always my favorite people to interview because it's always so fun. You know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean? We have a good time whenever I talk. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, this is great. Like, Matthew Mercer is one of my favorite people to talk to. He's amazing.
yeah.
I saw in an interview with you a little while ago. I don't remember when it was, but when I was looking you up before we talked, that you had said you were hoping you'd get to meet him sometime. Have you gotten to meet him yet?
I have gotten to meet him. I met him once.
Yay!
And every now and again, I'll see him in passing at a particular studio that we go to. And does he remember my name? Probably not. But like, it's
No.
neat to be able to be like, hey man, like I, the first time I met him, I was talking about how important his work was to me, and how just like him as a good person, like a good natured person, has kind of inspired that infectious that infectious demeanor and candor in my relations with everybody that I work with. I try and make sure that when I go to studios, I know the receptionist's name, I know the engineer's name. I want to like talk to them and like see how their family's doing. Like, how's your cat? Like, tell me about like how's your life? Like, what do you
Mhm.
that desk you were building? Did it come together? Right? The pictures you're hanging in the hallway, like this one's crooked, right? I want to be there, be salient. I want to be part of the conversation and part of their day to day.
No, it's great because there is a lot of overlap with, it's a lot of the same people working on projects. And obviously you guys don't record together quite much at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of sad. But like you guys get to all see each other at like events, I imagine, and conventions, which I want to
Yes,
talk
yes.
about. Conventions for me, we love like Anime Pasadena. We go all the time.
Okay.
I love a convention. How fun is it for you on the other end of it? And then also to see like all the cosplay of your characters and stuff.
Okay, that's yeah. The cosplay of the characters is super cool because it is a way for people to showcase their creativity in a way that isn't necessarily like intangible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like as an actor, a lot of the creativity that we manifest, is intangible. It's like, part of the show, it's part of other things. It's like melding together. But when people come up in cosplay, I'm able to be like, you made that. There it is. It's right here in front of me. Your hands, put that together. It's super cool. And then I have people that come up and like give me gifts and stuff. Like hold on a second.
Ooh, I'm excited.
This is a cross-stitched
Oh
logo
my God.
of the breaker box from Date Everything that I was given by a fan. And I'm gonna try
Wow.
and find a place to put this. Like one of my bathrooms, I guess, is gonna be the breaker box. And I
I
have a
love
bunch
it.
of other stuff. Like I have fan art and things that I try and frame. And this is like somebody made this. This is my VTuber's like pet snail. His name is Claude. And he's got a little plush here. So he just like hangs out on my desk. Like we it's incredible the creativity that people are able to showcase, the kindness, the fun environment that a convention provides, the ability for us as friends to have time with our actor friends that isn't necessarily something, because the final boss of having friends in Hollywood is scheduling,
Yeah.
honestly. So, and we're
Yes.
fighting that final boss constantly. That's a raid boss. That thing's got 3 health bars, man. And we have time in a vacuum at a convention. So like
Yeah.
we know, unless you got something crazy planned, you're probably going to be free on Saturday night, right? You're probably
Right.
going to be free on Friday night. Let's go bowling. Let's find a cool local place in Philadelphia that we're all in, and we'll go and get some, get some beers or cheesesteaks or something. Right. So and we'll just hang out, and we don't necessarily have to talk about work or anything. We'll just like enjoy each other's company. And most of the time when I do see my friends, it is at a convention. Um, but we do try. That's because I'm at conventions like 32 weeks out of the year. 32 weeks a year. But I it, it's invaluable as a professional to be able to see your friends, especially when you are. It's crazy that we don't see each other at work. We see each other at these conventions all the time, and those
Yeah.
are also work. But like it's there's a levity to it.
Yeah.
There's a pseudo celebrity to it, and it's neat. Some of the hardest and fastest friends that I've gained were through conventions in the industry.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, I get it. With me, it's like we see each other, like South by Southwest is coming up, and we're like, yay, we'll actually get to see each other. We might be next to each other on a carpet, and that's how we talk, but like we'll see each other,
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like no one has time.
It's still any time that you have with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. What does it? I want to know, like, speaking of conventions, like, what does it mean to you when people come up to you, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that come up and just tell you how much certain characters mean to them. And I know there's, characters that have changed people's lives or series that have changed people's lives. I can't imagine that that ever gets old to hear those stories from people.
It doesn't. The characters are very, very important. The hard part as an actor is you have to separate yourself from the characters too, because you don't want people to kind of project those characters onto you. That's sort of like a pitfall where it's just like, oh, you're Legoshi. It's like, no. I am Jonah, different than Legoshi, maybe a similar personality, similar voice, but like I am not that character. So be careful. I will
Yeah.
do TikTok with you and I will engage with you like that. But like we should let's head this off before it gets too crazy.
Yeah. That's fair.
But it is incredible to see how it's less so me as like a celebrity being like, yes, great, the character that I voice is changing your life. It's fantastic. No, it is the character that was written by somebody across the world with a
Mhm.
different life experience, with a different set of childhood, adolescence, adulthood has affected you in a way that is similar to your lived experience across the other side of the world. It lets you know how connected we are as humans
Mhm.
and how much storytelling really means. Uh,
Yeah.
Marvel superheroes are this, millennium's gods. It is. It is. This is like, you talk about Captain America, and he might as well be like Zeus, right? There's they have this mythos, this broad set of stories that are loosely connected, and these personalities that are loosely connected, and it's really really neat to see that people are resonating with all that stuff, and as an actor bringing those characters to life,
Mhm.
that is really nice. So getting being told our performances are really great and everything is nice, but we wouldn't have those performances if it wasn't for the inception of those characters, and that, mangaka, author, game developer, whatever, what have you, writer, their lived experience and what they their life has informed them to put on the page, right?
Mhm.
That's something you can't get with like an AI or something. You
Yeah.
they don't have a lived experience. They have what other people have fed them as a lived experience. But like my the way that I write a poem will be different than the way that you write a poem, will be different than the way that Tasia writes a poem, who's listening in, will be different than the way than any of my friends write a poem, and they will all be different poems, and they will all be informed by different choices that we made in our life, and different things that we think of when we're trying to make similes and metaphors and allegory and all that stuff. Uh, so yeah, it's less about me. It's
Mhm.
honestly more about the wonderfully rich buildings Romans that we're telling, the action stories and the romances and losing your head in all of those
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful worlds.
Yeah. Are you a big manga reader? Or like were
I,
you
I,
always?
I love manga. One I'm reading right now, and I'm almost through it. I have two volumes left of this big one. It's called Blame. It's really really cool.
Blame. Okay.
It's a sci-fi story about a kid living in an Ecumenopolis, which is this like big world city. It's a planet. It's also a city, and it's all built down to like the planet core. So like even all the way
Oh,
down like
cool.
into the crust and everything. There's so much going on. The art is beautiful. I love sci-fi and fantasy. Those are the two like the poles that I live on. So it's a really really good story. The art is something that's really impressive, and like character designs. But let's see, what else am I reading? I'm reading Demons in the Shadow Realm.
Okay.
Really really good. I am reading. Let's see what else. I have the OG Trigun Omnibus that I have to finish through.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
Trigun is my favorite anime. I have not seen
Okay.
Stampede. I have not seen Stargaze.
Really?
I know I'm a bit of an old fashioned
You
guy,
won't even watch it.
and I don't know. It's not that I won't watch it. It's that I have to watch it with the right people and at the right time.
That's very
I
fair.
also just have been busy, so it's hard to like nail down. I've been watching like Bridgerton and some other stuff that I've like keep
Yes.
up with.
Yeah.
Um, but I found Trigun, and I didn't even know they were making a new one. I found Trigun, watched the whole 4x3 stuff, and that was when I was like 13, 12. Really enjoyed that. Latched onto it really hard, and that became my favorite anime. Just the OG Trigun. I worry that if I watch the new one, that I'm not going to like the OG anymore, or like I'll like
Um,
the new one more than the OG or something like that. It'll affect the way that I feel about the franchise. But yeah, no, I'm on the pulse of a lot of stuff, and like Kagurabachi is another one that I'm watching or reading. Let's see, JJK, obviously Demon Slayer.
mm,
Uh, let's see, I was a Fruits Basket is what I'm reading right now.
okay.
I've watched it, but I'm reading that. Um, there's an Uma Musume light novel that I'm reading. But I don't I this is all stuff that I've started and then
I
Yes,
know.
it
I
is, but
That's all right. That happens. That happens. When you get booked for something, like, do you, if you haven't read the manga, will you read it, or do you like to like wait and not have it inform you? You know what I mean?
so when I'm auditioning, I would like to know what I'm auditioning for a lot of the time, especially for video games.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're reading for. You have to like you have to read between the lines, and as a gamer and a streamer, I'm able to be like I can pick up on like context clues and things like that and put together kind of what I'm auditioning for, like maybe a genre or like an IP, maybe. But for anime, when I'm auditioning, I don't the sad part is I don't want to get too attached to a character because I love the medium. It's not like it's just I'm gonna throw it away. If I'm
Yeah.
auditioning for something, I don't want to get too attached because I mean I audition for 100 things and I book two of them. I'm
Right.
probably when I do read for something, I want to believe that I will get cast, but I will probability I will not get cast. So I can't like latch onto that and like really make this guy my identity or anything like that, or like get too invested in the property. Um, because there is a possibility that I just won't be in it, and then I'll be like bummed and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
when I do get cast, yes, I do. When I am in the booth and like when I've confirmed a session time and I'm like ready to go, I will consume as much of that media as I can.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I will definitely do my research. I rarely go in without knowing the scope and breadth of the story, if there is a story. Like for Skate the Infinity and some other things, there's like no manga to go off of, so
Right.
we're going blind most of the time. But yeah, no, I do my homework.
Well, sometimes I feel like people might not want to, say you die like in the future. You're like, I don't want to know my character,
So I have a very nuanced opinion on that. Like in a manga, it's anyone's guess because it could be ongoing, could be done, could be bad. It's whatever. You kind of have to take a stand as a creator and be like, all right, I'm gonna not. I don't want to know that I die or something
Right.
like that, right?
Yeah.
But there's things in like relay animation where you go in and you have the majority of the season, if not the entire season, written, and like you have people the thing that often gets overlooked is there is some language barriers sometimes with like localization and things like that. But if you're doing like a prelay show down at Nickelodeon, everybody there speaks English, was born and raised in Fullerton, California, right?
Yeah.
It's all you're able to kind of move fast and looser than you would with like anime that has a lot of gates and fences for good reason.
Yes.
Because much like herding sheep, you kind of have to get them all in one area before you let them all out, and then you get them all in one area one more time, you let them all out. It's like operating a lock.
That's such a great visual. I love that. Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations on everything. I mean, you're
Thank you, Tessa.
impressive, seriously impressive stuff.
Thank you.
And my daughter was like, tell him how excited I am you're talking to him. I was like, I will let him
Very
know.
excited. Tell your daughter thank you so much.
I will. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad we were able to make this work.
Yeah, me too, Tessa.
Yeah.
You have a good week, okay?
Yeah,
Enjoy
you
the rest of
too.
your week and your weekend, all right?
All right, you too. Thanks.